It is actually possible to capture CO2 from the thin air. Normally this is done by, for example, chemical processes where the CO2 binds itself to a molecule that then, by either being heated up or being moisturized, then releases the CO2 again. So what you can imagine is you create a flow which goes over this chemical part, and then once it's saturated with CO2 you enclose it, and then you either heat it up to release it or you vaporize it, and thereby you have captured the CO2. You can actually also capture CO2 in the water, and that is what happens in our oceans, because CO2 is very soluble in water. Another way, of course, to capture CO2 is biological processes. This can be done by either bacteria. In the end, it was bacteria who created our atmosphere in the first place, or by algae. So the more CO2 there is in the air, the more these algae will grow. And of course, already now we know that everyone knows that trees breathe CO2 and exhale oxygen, which is the normal cycle of life. So also having more trees inside of a building can actually help you to reduce CO2 levels. There are maths you can do, how many plants or algae you need in a given room in order to consume all the CO2, and thereby this might be a possibility to actually lower the CO2 level below what it is outside. So for example, in a city where you are next to a street in a rush hour with very high CO2 levels, it might be desired to actually lower the CO2 below the outside air. However, today we do not have this kind of technology and we do not have solutions for this.